let's take a look exactly what the UAE has also now been doing, because there has been a diplomatic fallout that has now been reported, with the UAE foreign minister saying that the series of calls with global leaders, including with Dr. S. Jaishankar, to discuss the escalating tensions. And what has now been said and projected that the leaders have strongly condemned Iran's missile attacks, calling them to be a violation of international law and a direct threat to regional security and stability. They've also stressed when it comes to the right of the affected nations to defend their sovereignty, while highlighting concerns over the impact on global energy and economic stability. And the UAE has reaffirmed that all residents and visitors remain safe, even as calls were made for stronger international cooperation to address the crisis. Well, Srinjoy, as far as the UAE is concerned, we are looking at a significant Indian population also, residing in those areas. And there has been constant calls that have been made, and India too has now openly condemned such kind of attacks that has been taking place, which actually, when it comes to escalates regional tensions, India has condemned that.
Yes, and India would, because these are attacks on civilian infrastructure. These are attacks on buildings. Now, there can be two explanations to this. One, of course, it's a deliberate attack. Secondly, supposing a missile is intercepted, the debris falls all over the place, including in the cities, and that too causes serious damage. Either way, it's an attack. It's a situation where people are getting hurt, and people are very, very concerned, because this means also a breakdown in facilities, potentially. So all of that has India very worried, because perhaps 2 million Indians live in the UAE, and that's a lot of people. And India has 9 million plus citizens in the Gulf area, in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE, in Qatar, in various places. So as a result, India would be very worried. Not only is their safety of their citizens an issue, also it's a question of investments from these countries to India. It's a question of remittances to India. So all of that becomes an issue because of these attacks. India has been very concerned, very apprehensive about attacks on civilian areas, potentially affecting its citizens.
Absolutely, because this seems to be the fallout that is now being expected, as far as India also condemning the attack, which also has affected when it comes to the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the countries. And there is a significant Indian population that resides in the Gulf. But right after Qatar, we are looking at Abu Dhabi, that also seems to have come under threat, with missile interceptions being reported, leading to the debris falling near key gas facilities. Authorities say that the incidents have been reported near the Hapshan gas facility and the Bab field, forcing temporary shutdown of the operations. As officials have confirmed that the debris was successfully intercepted, and there has been no injuries that has been reported, and the public has been urged to rely only on official updates. As far as when it comes to the situation that is now concerned, has been monitored very carefully. So even in Abu Dhabi, the situation is different from other countries that what we are looking at in the Gulf, because this seems to be what has been Iran's strategy, Shinjoy, so far, targeting energy infrastructure, gas fields, oil refineries, and this is a warning that the IRGC already gave to the Gulf countries.
Yes, the logic here is, it's a little different. It is that if gas facilities, oil facilities, refineries are targeted, then the oil supply chain is affected, severely affected. And if that happens, then the oil prices will shoot up, as they have. From $70 per barrel, it has gone up to over 100. And if that happens, if it's at over $100 a barrel, there will be significant problems for many countries. And these countries would then step in and want the war to end, and would attempt to pressure the United States and Israel. That is one argument that is being looked at. So we don't know how things will pan out. But at this point, the clear decision by the Revolutionary Guards is to target to target as many refineries and other oil processing facilities there are in the Gulf. So you've seen attacks on Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, surprisingly, and also other countries like Kuwait and Bahrain. So a lot of countries have been targeted, a lot of countries have been hit, and there has been considerable damage.
Yes, but it also warns of global energy risk, doesn't it, Trinjoy? The kind of targeted attacks that Iran has been doing.
Yes, there is no doubt, because if these figures are now so commonplace. 20% of all the world's crude oil comes through the Straits of Hormuz, which are currently closed, which means 20% roughly of the world's requirements are not coming through. So if that is so, then clearly there will be disruption. Now, what are the alternatives? The Saudis can push something out through the Red Sea. There are ports that side. There is something which is slightly southeast of the Straits of Hormuz for the UAE, one port there. But these are not entirely alternatives. So as a result, there is pressure, there is trouble as far as the oil chains are oil supply chains.
Well, there seems to be an involvement as far as when it comes to the entire world that we are looking at, because indirectly even they seem to be affected when it comes to the global consequences that we are looking at of this war that has now marked 20th day. And this is also on the occasion that the Gulf countries would be marking when it comes to Eid. But it seems to have been started looking at such kind of celebrations that may not take place because of the kind of, conflict that is now escalated and has now, continued for the last 20 days altogether. But there has been even more retaliation being reported from Iran's side, where there has been reports of cluster bomb falling in